What is up, guys? What if I told you that it's possible to hardcore Nuzlocke Pokemon Heartgold with only unevolved Psychic types? How long would it take? What kind of strategies would you have to employ to give yourself the maximum chance for each fight? What kind of movesets and EVs would be optimal for all your Pokemon? I'm gonna answer all those questions. Let's look at all the friends we'll have available today, in chronological order. Slowpoke, Drowsy, Abra, Execute, and Natu. A solid team. Traditionally, when you do a hardcore monolock like this, and you can't obtain the first Pokemon you need before the first gym, you use it as your starter. So that's what I'll do. You're gonna have to look ahead already in terms of EV investment, since the second gym features a Scyther with an 110 base attack and a super effective U-turn at the second gym. And Slowpoke is gonna have to solo this since you don't get Drowsy until after. From level 5 to level 9, Slowpoke will have a total of 524 total XP to spend on EVs. The cheapest HP EVs come from Hoot Hoot at a price of 16 EXP per 1 HP EV. Level 9 is just so that Slowpoke can easily take care of all the required fights between now and right before Faulkner. These fights will have a bunch of trash EVs I don't want on my Slowpoke, but I don't have a choice. Slowpoke is gonna have to eat all of them. Once all required trainers are finished, Slowpoke will be at high level 11 and I'll have 1030 total EXP until high level 13, which will be 64 HP EVs, and then we'll have to fight Faulkner. Setting up to max defense and max attack with Curse versus the Pidgey is the way to win. Ignore sand attacks, your tackles will be deadly enough so that you'll only have to hit a few. Also, if you want, Wild Scent hold Oran Berries 5% of the time, so if you want to go through that too to increase your chances, you can. Between Faulkner and Bugsy, you will have to pick up more trash EVs, and once you're all done with that, you'll have 332 EXP left over for 20 more HP EVs. After Bugsy and the rival fight right after though, you're going to be able to pour all the rest of your investment into HP and defense. You're gonna need everything to go right for this one. Using Yawn is a big gamble in general here, just cause Scyther can use U-turn and that means you've wasted your Yawn turn. But if it falls asleep, you can use these turns to set up curses for attack and defense boosts. The first time Scyther U-turns out, it'll go into Metapod. Now is the time to max out your stats with Curse. Then, take care of Metapod with Tackle. When Scyther is back in, you'll just have to pray it won't crit you through your defense boost while you kill it with Tackle. Kakuna will fall after 2, and it won't matter too much if it poisons you. There's no mercy after, because if your rival's Ghastly uses Curse, that's it. You won't have enough turns alive to win the battle. Don't waste turns setting up Curse against Ghastly, get rid of it as soon as possible. All you can do in this battle is spam Water Gun and pray. Alright, let's add up the trash, and then give the rest to defense and HP. You can use repels to ensure that you get a Drowsy on Route 34. You don't want to risk an Abra Fling here, so you can just guarantee the Drowsy and then buy an Abra from the game corner. You can also get your Execute now by headbutting a tree. Let's talk about all these guys. When you're playing through Heartgold and Soul Silver, you don't have access to berries that reduce your EVs, so whatever EVs you put on them are permanent. This also means that I have to wait to build my EV spread until I come across a barrier in which I need to build a Pokemon a certain way. For example here, with Whitney. Well, Abra can learn Focus Blast, which is awesome against Whitney's normal types, but you don't want to bank your hardcore Nuzlocke on 70% accurate moves. So, what else can we do here? The major issue with this part is Clefairy. It has Metronome, which can turn into any move. How do you prepare for that? With Substitute. If I can set up a Substitute, it won't matter if Clefairy gets an amazing move, because the Substitute will make me immune or bail me out. Also, I want a Pokemon that's faster than it, so I'll always be able to set up a Substitute before it attacks. This rules out Slowpoke and Drowsy, who are slower than Clefairy. I will not be giving them speed investment, because although it would be good for the moment, neither of these Pokemon have a way to boost their speed later on, and eventually it would just become wasted EVs. Let's look at Execute though. It is high defense for Whitney's physical Pokemon, it has Leech Seed right now, Reflect, I can teach it Substitute, and it's faster than Clefairy. I can continuously sub up sap health with Leech Seed, and use Protect. This means I'll never have a net loss of health. You'll be able to win this battle with a max defense, max HP, execute. For the Burnt Tower rival fight, I'll use Abra, and I'll set up a substitute turn 1. 3 of Ghastly's moves are immune to a substituted Pokemon, and although one lick will break Abra's sub, I tested this battle a bunch of times and Ghastly just does never go for it. The only attacking move Abra can learn at this point other than Focus Blast is Charge Beam, which is not bad. Abra can sweep this fight if it gets 1 or 2 special attack boosts from Charge Beam, and I have a wide lens to make sure Charge Beam is 99% accurate. If I'm not able to sweep with Abra, I have Slowpoke for Quilava and Execute for Magnemite. Abra can't do the same thing reliably versus Morty, so here's what we'll do. First, I'll sub up on Abra against this Ghastly to increase my chances of being immune to it. I just want to kill the Ghastly and drag the Haunter in. This Haunter needs to put you to sleep first to be able to use Nightmare and Dream Eater, and my sub will make Abra immune to any of Haunter's attacks, so it's stuck there doing nothing. I'm gonna spam Light Screen and Teleport just to run Haunter out of all of its Hypnosises and Curses. Once it's out, I can go safely into Drowsy. Now with Drowsy, I'll set a substitute up. Then, I'll meditate 6 times to reach +6 attack and finish Haunter with Confusion. It's important I edge my Drowsy for Psybeam, you'll see why later. Gengar is gonna come in, and it's gonna use Shadow Ball and break my sub. I can just follow up with a Psychic type Natural Gift to kill it. Now, versus the last Haunter, I'm just barely out of range to survive a crit Sucker Punch from Hunter if it goes for it. That's why I have my HP investment. Now, I can use one final Psybeam to take it out. Confusion will be just barely out of range, and I need max special attack to ensure the kill with Psybeam. Chuck's Easy. Execute is amazing. I can sit here with Reflect, Leech Seed, Substitute, and Protect, and Chuck can barely hit it. Execute is going to be able to solo Chuck for you. Price is going to be simple too. Set up a Leech Seed on this seal here, then go to Drowsy and set up the +6 attack with it. Leech Seed is going to keep you healthy from Seal's pathetic little moves, and once you're +6 attack with Meditate, you can sweep the whole team with Drain Punch. For Jasmine, you can just set up a substitute, be immune to Magnemite's never-ending Thunder Waves, then I'll use Leech Seed and wait it out. Same thing for the next Magnemite, with Screen support to help tank the Thunderbolts. I can leave a Leech Seed on the Steelix, and I can switch out Wallet with Slowpoke and spam Surf for the win. Barry made me think this time, but we're still gonna beat him. Golbat only uses 2 moves versus Slowpoke, Air Cutter and Confuse Ray, never Bite. I'm gonna wait here with Slowpoke until Golbat uses Confuse Ray. When Golbat uses it, it's gonna see that Slowpoke is immune because of the Own Tempo ability, and now it won't use Confuse Ray anymore, it'll only attack with Air Cutter. Now, I'm going to yawn. Next turn, I can switch into Abra, who will be 100% safe coming in, since Golbat can't choose Confuse Ray right now, and Air Cutter crit won't even kill Abra. Now, Golbat is guaranteed to stay asleep for this one turn here, and Abra is all set up for the 2-hit KO with Charge Beam and Shadow Ball. Haunter will come out next and die to a Shadow Ball. Now Sneasel is in, and since my Abra is at 75% health right now, it'll see a kill with priority quick attack and always go for it. If the previous Golbat missed its Air Cutter, I would substitute up intentionally to drain my health to 75%. Now that quick attack is guaranteed, I can get a safe switch in back into my Slowpoke. Slowpoke can also take a crit feint attack and get 1 yawn off. Now I'm going directly into Execute. Execute can also take a crit feint attack, and Sneasel will fall asleep now. I have my guaranteed turn to use Leech Seed. If Sneasel wakes up next turn, I'm just going to go back into Slowpoke and constantly slack off to drain Sneasel's HP with Leech Seed. If it doesn't, I can finish Sneasel with the Execute just by substituting and protecting over and over. Once it's gone, Quilava will come out and get 1v1 by Slowpoke, then Magnemite can get 1v1 by Drowsy or Execute. Executive Proton has a Golbat too that likes to use Confuse Ray, so you know what to do. Once you're immune, use Yawn, then you can go into Drowsy. Drowsy can use Choice Spec Psybeam to kill Golbat while it falls asleep, and this Wheezing here doesn't have Explosion, so I'm not scared of it. Ariana's Arbok is really annoying to deal with because of Glare and Crunch, and I can't just kill it either because Murkrow comes out after and can use Pursuit, which is going to trap your Pokemon in and do double damage. Here's how to avoid that. Slowpoke is going to use Substitute, Curse, and Slack Off to try and PP stall Arbok out of all of its crunches. With defense drops from Crunch, Paralysis, crits through Substitute, and Slowpoke being slower, this part is easily done but wildly unpredictable. It's all good though, because Execute is in the back in case Slowpoke ever gets into trouble. Once Arbok doesn't have Crunch anymore, I want to first make sure Slowpoke is paralyzed so that Arbok won't go for Glare while I'm switching to Drowsy. When Drowsy's in, my Lumberry will shrug off the paralysis and I can substitute up. Now Arbok can't break the sub with a crit even, and it'll usually just spam Glare anyway, which I'm immune to because of the sub. I need 4 attack boosts from Meditate, and then I'll kill Arbok with Psychic. Murkrow will come in, and I can kill it with a Drain Punch. Finally, Vileplume is in, but Drowsy can't fall asleep from its sleep powder because of insomnia, and I can just kill it with Psychic. Slowpoke is pretty much the only one that can handle the Archer fight, but his Houndour has Roar, and I really want to set up on it with Curse and Substitute. So, just for this battle, I left the rest of my team in the PC. Slowpoke can set up all the defense boosts, defend against flinches and crits with Substitute, while staying healthy with Slack Off, and once I'm all set up, I'm going to just click Surf a bunch of times to win. Now it's time to put the Natu on the team, and I'm gonna need him for a special job. Okay, time to fight Claire. Start with Execute. Hit Gyarados with a Leech Seed, and if I can, I'll set up a Reflect too. This ensures that when I switch to Slowpoke, Gyarados won't choose Bite anymore since it sees a weaker move compared to Dragon Pulse and Dragon Rage. If I don't get that Reflect up, I'm just going to set up a Curse first with Slowpoke anyway. That's going to ensure Gyarados never uses Bite, even after Reflect is gone. I don't want to get flinched. Now, just sit here with Slowpoke, stay healthy, and get defense boosts. And I'm just going to wait until Gyarados is drained of its health and Claire uses one of her potions. Once Gyarados' HP looks exactly like this from Leech Seed, now I yawn. Next turn, any move I want. Then the turn after that, Gyarados will get very low and fall asleep. This gives me a free turn to go into Natu safely while Gyarados succumbs to the Leech Seed. Now Dragonair is here, and since it doesn't see a kill, and my Natu's faster than it, it's gonna use Thunder Wave forever. I can set up a substitute to be immune, and then I'll eventually kill it with a Nightshade. The next Dragonair comes out and I'm gonna do the same thing, but this time, once Dragonair is one hit from dying to Nightshade, I'll use Sunny Day. Then, next turn, I'll kill Dragonair. Now Kingdra is here. Kingdra only uses Hydro Pump and Dragon Pulse versus Natu here. But, since the sun is up, Hydro Pump's damage is halved, and Kingdra won't go for it anymore, it'll only go for Dragon Pulse. Now that I've isolated Dragon Pulse as the only move it's gonna use, I can use Me First. Me First is a move that takes your opponent's move and lets you use it first with 50% greater power. This will get Kingdra at half, while my substitute tanks Kingdra's own Dragon Pulse. Next turn, Kingdra will Dragon Pulse again, and I'll me first it, winning me the battle. The Kimono Gauntlet is gonna be tough. Might kill your run, gotta dodge a few crits. But here's how we're gonna do it. First is Umbreon. The end goal here is to PP stall it until it struggles. My Abra's main job is to use Captivate on it to lower its special attack. When it uses Confuse Ray into Abra's substitute, next turn becomes free to use Captivate, and Umbreon uses Confuse Ray a lot. I'll be protecting and using Substitute with Abra too to maximize PP loss for Umbreon. I'll usually get 3 Captivates off, but sometimes only 2. Either is fine. I've played this Umbreon like 30 times trying to strategize for the Kimonos. I've never lost to it, although things can seem dicey sometimes. Once Abra can't stall anymore and it's on 1 HP, I'll go into Natu, and Natu needs to dodge crit here. I needed to get Natu in. But if you do, you can finish the stall. Using Lucky Chant will prevent Umbreon from critting and breaking my substitutes I set up in 1 hit. Light Screen is also going to increase the amount of hits my substitute can take. I'll roost up when I need to, and after a while, Umbreon will struggle itself to death. Espeon is next, but it dies to 1 Shadow Ball from Abra. And since my Abra is on 1 HP here, this Flareon is going to be guaranteed to use Quick Attack on this turn, and I'll have a free switch in to Slowpoke. Slowpoke can use Rest, Substitute, Protect, and Light Screen to stall Flareon out of Fire Blast and Last Resorts. Once that's done, I make sure my Slowpoke has as much health as I can and have it not be asleep, then I'll switch to Execute. Now Flareon just does Quick Attack and Will-O-Wisp and can't touch Execute. I'll Leech Seed it to death, and at the same time, make sure my Execute has as much health as I can and not be burned when the battle's over. Jolteon is gonna go for Thunderbolt here, since it always sees the kill on Abra. I'm gonna go into Execute, and I'll need to dodge 1 of 2 potential crits and land a Leech Seed on Jolteon. Right after, I'll go into Drowsy, who can Substitute, Protect, and Light Screen, while Leech Seed drains it. Last is Vaporeon, and I'll go right into Slowpoke. I'm going to stall this thing too. Things can be pretty scary here at the beginning with Surf and Last Resorts crits, but I'll just keep on resting and setting up Light Screens. Once it has no Surf left, I win. Aurora Beam and Quick Attack don't do anything to Slowpoke. I'll wait it out until it struggles itself to death, and the Kimono Gauntlet is over. Well guys, these are the boys behind the scenes here. The IVs, the EVs, the nature, the laughs, the tears, the hardships. We've been through a lot, but now we're at the Elite Four. My friend Will here can be swept by Choice Specs Shadow Ball from Abra. Natu can kill the Ariados and the Muck at the beginning with Choice Specs Psychic. When the Fortress is in, I'll go into Execute, who completely walls it. Now, I'll Leech Seed it, wait for it to die, or just wait for it to explode. For Venomoth, I'm gonna go into Drowsy. All I'm doing though is just waiting for it to use Supersonic on my Drowsy. That way, I can get a switch into my Natu without it trying to confuse it. Now Natu can kill Venomoth with Choice Spec Psychic. The final Crobat can be dealt with Slowpoke and Drowsy. Bruno can get swept by Choice Specs Psychic Natu. Yo, check this one out. For Karen first, I'm going to lead with my Focus Sashed Natu. I'm just going to use Miracle Eye to nullify any double team evasion boosts Umbreon sets up. And when I use Miracle Eye, my entire team doesn't see evasion boosts on Umbreon. It's a nice move. Now I go into Slowpoke. Slowpoke is just going to get defense boost from Curse, and I'm going to spam Rest and Substitute until Umbreon has run out of Feint Attack and Payback. Now I'm going into Abra, who has a Lumberry for the potential confusion. Doesn't matter if it gets it. Now I'll substitute 9 times in a row just to waste out the rest of Umbreon's Confuse Rays. Then I'll use Swagger 3 times on Umbreon to give it max attack intentionally. Now I can safely go into Drowsy while Umbreon can't do anything. I'm gonna Psych Up on Drowsy, and Psych Up is gonna steal max evasion and max attack from the Umbreon. Then I'll set up a substitute and I can finish off the Umbreon with Return. Gengar is coming in, and this interaction is a little strange. I'll explain. For now, I'm just gonna hit Gengar with Psychic and get it low. Now, a few things could happen here. When the game sees you use a move that another Pokemon on the enemy's team is immune to, next turn, there's a very small chance they switch out into that Pokemon. I just used Psychic and Karen has Murkrow in the back, who comes before Houndoom, so there's a small chance here that Karen switches to Murkrow. Also, Gengar loves to use Destiny Bond at low health too. I'd say about 80% of the time. Here's how we can counter all the scenarios. Spam Return. If Karen decides to switch to Murkrow, I can kill it right away with Return. If it stays in with Gengar, my Return won't affect it. This is also necessary because I don't want to be taken down by Destiny Bond, so I can spam Return here until it runs out of all 5 of its Destiny Bonds. Gengar also does love to go for Spite sometimes, so to be totally safe, I'd advise using PP Ups or PP Max on Return here. Okay, Gengar dies to Psychic, and now Murkrow will come out. Now the battle is in the hands of Fate. Murkrow only goes for Whirlwind or Feint Attack here. Whirlwind is optimal here because it has a negative priority and Drowsy can preserve its sub, go first, and kill Murkrow. If it uses Feint Attack though, that's not good, because Feint Attack always hits, even through all those double team evasion boosts that we stole from Umbreon. Houndoom will come after Murkrow here, and if your sub is broken, you have to pray that Houndoom misses into your +6 evasion. Not bad odds though. If you do manage to get past Houndoom, Vileplume will be last, and Drowsy will live a non-crit Petal Dance if it manages to hit one. You'll need 2 hits to kill it. Don't celebrate yet though, there is a Lance. There were some big issues when preparing for the Lance fight. Here's what's going on. None of my Pokemon have any way of gaining speed boosts, and only Natu and Abra can outspeed all of Lance's Pokemon except for Aerodactyl. So that should be fine, right? I can deal with Aerodactyl a different way. Well, Abra and Natu also happen to be the only 2 Pokemon on my team that have absolutely no way of acquiring special attack boosts. That also means that neither Natu and Abra can pick up any guaranteed kills in this battle. If I take a defensive approach to the fight, Slowpoke is the only Pokemon that sets up defense and special defense boosts of any kind. I can set up to max special defense with Amnesia, max attack and defense with Curse, and just slowly headbutt my way through Lance's team. This wasn't a very satisfying answer to the question in the video though, but I've exhausted other strategies behind the scenes. Lance has just revealed the flaws of the team. The ones who outspeed can't set up, and the ones that can set up can't outspeed. I know though, if I spent more time thinking about this fight, I think I could find something better to do here, but I think the best idea would just to be to redo the team in terms of their EV sets and everything. Specifically with Execute, I think there's potential here. It can get Chlorophyll and access to Swords Dance. Chlorophyll will allow it to outspeed a lot of Pokemon, and Swords Dance will give it attack boost. And maybe there's something there. Although I can't really explain the thought process and what I exhausted trying to find strategies for this Lance fight, so just drop a comment. Do you have any ideas of what I could have done? Take a look at the move sets and all the moves my Pokemon can learn here. Think of something. Do you think there's a better strategy than what I came up with? Well guys, maybe in the future we'll be back here doing it again, but probably not. So make sure to leave a comment and drop a like, and then drop the subscribe and comment on the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.